Hello and welcome to Weekly Reef Wrap-Up number 4. It's been a bit of a crazy week. If you saw last week's Reef Wrap-Up, you might know that there was a huge problem with my new tank. Like, what else is new? What else could go wrong? I'll tell you what else could go wrong. The thing could leak. Obviously, I really hope it doesn't. I have no reason to expect it will, other than how things have gone so far. On the bright side, this half of the stand is being picked up tomorrow. We found a metal fabricator who will weld in supports on either half of the front here, in the position where the green tape is, and that will hold up the front edge of the tank. Then this will be delivered to the powder coating place, and it's supposed to be back by the end of the week. By this time next week, I hope I can show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the aftermath of a tip from CC Reef Keeper, Phil. He gets rid of mushrooms by injecting the mouth when it's open with calc paste. So I did that yesterday because these guys are really overgrowing. I've done this once before and I took back a whole row of them. And now they're filling in again, so today I was able to come in and pluck the entire mushroom off the rock. The foot just completely let go. I'm sure the others will fill in again. I might even take the one beside it, but you know, the clownfish lives in here, so I want to be pretty careful about that. Yep, there's Mr. Potato Head. Looks like the fish are trying to bully him. Interesting. Here's part of the mess that I make every week when I test my tanks. I have 3 to test now. It's a lot of work, it takes a long time, so you can imagine how excited I was when after months of waiting, this arrived. More on this later, after I have a chance to use it and see how it goes. And no weekly reef wrap-up would be complete without me showing you something about my skimmer. But this week is to show you how the hack I came up with to replace the skimmer sock is working out. I have rolled up pinky filter in there because my thinking was, based on how dirty the sock got when it was being used, there had to be stuff in the water that would be good to filter out. Was I right? Oh boy, was I ever right. The amount of crud that gets collected in here is kind of surprising. This is about a week's worth. So I'm so glad that this is what I'm doing because, hey, it's better that this stuff is out of the water than put back in to just recirculate. Please enjoy this short time lapse of Mr. Potato Head doing his job. And here's the rest of the crew having some food. Everybody likes seeing fish eat, right? I've put an algae clip in here. I do this about every other day so as not to bump the phosphate too much, and they really enjoy it, as you can tell. I watch pretty carefully, and when the algae is all gone, I take the clip out of the tank. I've heard too many stories of the casing cracking and water getting in and starting the magnet rusting. Okay, this might not seem like a big deal, but these are my orange rainbow pallies. And this is the first time in probably a couple months that I've seen any color on them. They've been closed up. I had them in 3 or 4 different places, and I'm so happy to see this. They're beautiful. They're really slow growers, and they got overgrown by Citrus rhodactis. And before I knew it, I had barely any left. So super happy about this. Torch report. This one is going crazy. This one, not so much. I think it's actually a little smaller in polyp extension than it was when I first put it in here. So what I might do is switch the places of these two and just see if that makes a difference. All right. So I'll come back later and take a look and see whether I can notice any difference between them. And here we go, getting this thing all set up, updating the firmware, downloading the app, and pretty soon I'm going to be able to do a test. If you're dying to know what this is, it's the WaterLink Spin Touch from Lamont. Not sponsored. And here we are 24 hours later, and well, it definitely has made this one bigger. This one is probably about the same size, or maybe just a little more extended. I'll leave them like this for a little while and just see what happens as the days go by. I got these barnacles on Amazon some time ago. I decided it might be a good idea to allow them to develop a slime coat because the edges on some of these openings are extremely sharp. I thought it might be a better idea to have that slime on there so that when they go into the new tank, whenever that is, and I put fish in, it lessens the likelihood of the fish hurting themselves. But I'm not going to add them to the system until I'm sure they're clean. So I'm going to pour boiling water over them and let that sit for a while, and then I'll scrub them off with some sort of a soft brush, and then I'll probably repeat that process. That way, if there's any kind of a residue from chemicals or any cleaning agents or who knows what, I'll be able to get it off. There was a fair amount of crud that came off of both of them, and the larger one, once I had it underwater, there was an oily film on the surface. So I'm going to make sure to do this a second time, then I'll dry them off, and who knows, I might even do it again. I want to be as sure as I can that they're safe to add to the reef. I'll finish this week's wrap-up talking about the frag tank. Test numbers were very bad. Phosphate, 0.4. Nope, not 0.04, 0.4. Horrifying. Nitrate, 20. Not bad. Higher than it was last time, though. Alkalinity was 5.1. That was a shock. Calcium was 500. That was also a shock. So things are seriously out of whack in here. The SPS corals I have here are really suffering and have been probably for a while. I have been slack in doing testing. I should have done it a week ago. It has been 3 weeks since I last tested here. So now it's time to amend things. I did a quick water change of about 15%, roughly 3 gallons. I added some Elimifos Rapid, just a small amount, 1 milliliter, to work on that phosphate. I also added a little bit of alkalinity supplement to bump up the alkalinity. Magnesium was also low, but I'm leaving that alone for now because the calcium is so high. One other thing, I believe I misidentified the type of algae that's in here. I think it's actually Bryopsis. I thought it was green hair algae, but now I'm pretty sure I was wrong about that. So I made a decision yesterday actually to treat with fluconazole. That's why the tank looks cloudy. The decision was made before I knew about the bad numbers, but I'm kind of glad that I did make that decision given the really high phosphate and the kind of high nitrate. All of that is feeding the algae. So I want to get on top of this before it gets any worse because, as you know, if you've ever had Bryopsis in a tank, that stuff grows really fast and it's really hard to get rid of. I'll continue to use Elimifos Rapid to reduce the phosphate in here, but I'll do it slowly. I don't want to shock the system. There are corals in here that I really don't want to lose. I know I'm taking a risk, but I think I have to at this point. So I'm going to stay on top of the testing and hopefully things will turn around in here. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, why not give it a thumbs up? If you're interested in seeing what else happens with my new tank, why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next week.